Start out by going to Figma to show how to make your designs in Figma and to take them to Framer. So main advantages of using Framer is at places like your portfolio sites or something. You don't want some external help, but what you want is to get more ideas and how to use this. So I hope you can see my screen. This is a Figma file. So I've taken a old design of mine. You also might have something of your own. So I have designed just the web version. And what like how you will see this is everything is in a frame and each has a particular division in that. So let's go and search for the Figma to Framer with this plugin. We go over here. They ask us to select a layer to copy. Once we select this layer, you can see that it is copying all the layers, and that's it. That's
Riya,
yeah,
can you just slow down on the plugin thing and show that again?
sure,
That
sure.
was very fast. Yeah.
So
So it's a
this is the
Figma to HTML with Sim.
this is Framer's own plugin. Framer itself created this plugin. So suppose this is your website. Select your website or select whatever file page you want. Go to plugin. Then this would be the plugin. I can drop its link as well in chat. I've received that in chat as well. Now run this plugin. Keep this selected so that it is copying the layers. You can see it. It has copied all the layers. Now let's go to Framer. So when you come to Framer, you will get a quick dashboard, but let's start by creating a new project. So there are also these helpful tips on how do you want to start. Suppose this is our use case right now. So if you come here and realize that you have not copied yet from Figma, they'll give you how to copy that and what is the plugin link. But we have copied that already, so I'm going to select this. And also it is showing us 1200, but my screen size in Figma was 1440. I'm going to edit this desktop. I'm going to make it 1440. So my design adjusts well. And yep. So if you see this, everything is at fix. So a lot of errors happened. These things were placed at the absolute position here in Figma, but this took up the stack. So in stack, they are coming like this, right? So what you can do is change it. This is currently relative, change it to absolute. So it is going to change the effects. Now let's change for all of those circles. And you can get layers here as well. So we saw that we have changed two. Let's change the last one as well. Now try to place it however you want. But
Yes,
also,
sorry to
yeah,
interrupt. So is stack in Framer similar to an auto layout frame?
yeah.
Okay.
So now we realize that this is coming up front and the designs are actually going behind. So let's move it to the backdrop. Now, if you see, one important thing to consider while making a particular section here is to ensure either your like if my width is set to fixed, there is going to be some issue in the responsiveness of it. So I should set width usually to fill so that even if somebody opens it in their desktop or something with maybe a 2400 or something, a weird width. So this space does not like if I make it 2400, yeah, this space is coming to be blank if I'm not going to set it to fill, because it is not aligned in a way that we can ensure it comes to the complete way. So let's change this. Besides, uh, suppose this is the simple thing. Now let's try to remove all these circles and make it even simpler. Accidentally duplicated this twice, yeah. Now I want to create a mobile version of it as well. So that's quite actually easy. I can go and click on this breakpoint, choose what design do I want to create, tablet and phone. So let's choose phone. So now if you see, nothing was set in auto layout over here. Like everything was tagged in a way that everything fits but does not fill the content. So that is why we have all this issue. Now what we can do is either change everything manually to adjust it, or maybe design this better next time. That part I'm going to cover in the next section of this call. But let me show you one design. This design only in different file where I've adjusted the different layouts.
Sahil, you had a question?
Yeah, Riya. So these bugs that we're seeing here, is it better to fix all of this stuff in auto layout in Figma, or it's better to do it here in Framer itself?
It's better to do it in Premiere itself, because even when it is taking things from the Figma plugin, it misses out on few details. Even if you set it to REM, like if you create a style guide in Figma, it does not import your style guide. What it imports is all the properties of that particular design.
Okay. So
So
if a design is not made like let's say if a design is made 20-30% in auto layout, it's still fine to import it here and then work on that rather than fixing it in design first and then making it here.
yeah, it would be better if you create a basic structure in design file over there and
Okay.
then bring it over here to adjust, because the animations and everything in Figma is also very different from what is here in Framer.
Got it. So I'm just thinking more from the perspective of like very rough examples that we're creating to demo. So instead of just showcasing designs, if you want to create like quick demos of animating websites or a demo of website itself. So that's where I was coming from. Like if we don't have like a very detailed auto layout version of that.
Yeah, that works. You should try to fix it over here so that it aligns in a way that you can check different issues which other people might also face.
Got it.
Figma does not cover that user front of the spectrum.
Got it.
So
Yeah,
this
actually,
is
I had a follow-on question on this. So, if I think just joined the session, I'm not sure if you had covered this before. So, did you walk through the Figma file, how the Figma file is done? So, are they like static frames or are they auto layout? And
they
has
are
Framer?
done in auto layout. I've shared that in the Figma part. Maybe you could go through that in the recording, please.
Okay, there is a previous recording. Thanks. Yeah, I was not
Yeah.
aware.
So let's copy this into our existing file.
Sorry, I missed. What was the other file and what is this file?
So for demo purposes, I have edited this design already and
Okay,
set
okay,
it.
okay. So that's the edit. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have one more question. I'm just looking at this right now. So this phone version is basically auto created by the framer itself. But
Yeah, that is the difference what I'm showing. So the auto-created version is this, where everything is not arranged. There is a way to fix this, which I will tell in the like the following part. But
okay,
the better ways to like if you are starting out, I would prefer to fix it manually over here because then you understand what are the problems that your users might be facing and how
got it.
to handle it.
So if we have made a mobile design on Figma itself, that is not going to be used here.
That you can copy. That does not have any issue.
So you just imported the same way in like how we imported the first one.
Yeah.
And there's no need to link it together. Like this is the mobile version of that, or it automatically understands that.
It ought so that is the difference what I was trying to show. So this version over here, this is linked. This one is not.
Yeah.
So if you paste a design, you can paste it over here inside this layer so that it understands it better. So I'm going to remove this. This is a already present structure in this, which desktop, which I'm going to remove. I'm going to delete this section and then paste the design. Yeah. So this one, it does not automatically recognize, but when it has header like this, it does recognize.
Got it.
So let's delete this because this is not useful for us. Now, suppose this is the basic version of your website ready. You can go and then there is a quick publish button. If you click on this publish, it like this is done. You have this website ready now. Created a new tab. Yep. This is now available. But the thing is, this domain does not feel like personalized. You cannot use it. So you can either add a custom domain. There was this add custom domain button. So you can prefer to use this maybe demo site. Yeah, this could be the domain which you can use. Or if you want to add your personal website, you can remove this domain and connect your domain. But this is in the paid plan. Figma does not offer this for free. So either you can use this, but this is not usually helpful. So try using your name or the project name, something similar. So it is easier to understand. I'm going to rename it to demo site again. Yeah. So this is now available. Now in Framer, now that we have a very quick version of a design ready, now let's try to fix problems in Framer. And these are the problems which might have happened to you say in a similar way in design as well, or when you were designing in Figma. So if we see this, everything over here, if you go to this desktop, this is set to fit. But usually if you set it to fill for the different screen size, this will make sense, right? So we can make this change. Now, if you go to a particular section, let's say, let's go to this particular division. Yeah. So this is a fixed size which I've made. That is why it was going disturbing when I was moving to mobile because this is 952, which is way bigger than the size of mobile screen. So either you can set it as a fit content particularly, and then you can add styles over here. So as we define styles in Figma, you can define it over here as well. So you can go here and you can add things. So this is the style. Let's define it as paragraph. So it will remember this and it becomes very easy for you to use it. Now, if we see here, this type thing is particularly how you arrange your sections. So absolute, as we have seen earlier, let me try adding a object. Yeah. So this section of graphic which I created, this is absolutely positioned in this place. It is not going to be very helpful unless I want to create a special effect. But this thing, it is set to relative, and these are the two which are very frequently used. So most frequently we use relative because in an auto layout setting, if you want to adjust things in a particular manner, relative makes more sense so that if you want to add more lines, it will adjust. But if this is set to fit, this is not going to make sense. Let's set it to fit content. Let me, yeah, if you see, it is all adjusting. But the thing is, this container is set to fit. That is why it is pushing down, but not moving very fast. Now, this, if you want to keep a sticky nav bar or header, usually what people use for that is fixed positioning or sticky because they want it to be present at a particular section only. Uh, And one of the good practices is even if you are using this white background, but to add a section over here so that things don't merge. If you see this section, everything is merged over here. But if you click on it and you see there is no layout selected over here. So let's go to layout, click layout. What do we want? Do we want to stack this? If we see, if we spread this, it is going outside the box. Let's try to fill this. Then I've created this grid-like structure. In this grid, how do you want 2 by 2 of columns or you want 3 by 2 columns? So you can adjust this based on this. This is in the layouts where if you add grid, they ask you the columns and rows so that it looks in a tabular format and it is easier to read. Besides this, if you see the space between the object, which also they count as gaps, and the padding is the space between like the outside thing. Because they've added this padding somewhere over here. 50. We added 50, so it is coming over here. Now to adjust it to responsiveness, what is usual terms to follow, even in terms of grid, is to fill this content horizontally, and for the height you should use fit content so that based on the space it does not consume more space or look skewed. But if we look in this way, there is one challenge. That one challenge is if you look at this, they have not taken the gap between this in consideration. So if you click on this, go to these individual components, and then this is not set to fit content. So I've set it to fit content, and now I see there is a very less gap in between which I'm not able to fix. So what I'm going to do here is to add this specific padding. And also what they do is right is as top, right, bottom, and left. So I'm going to add it to 24 pixels to top. Now, if you still see, there is some overlap over here. So let's go to a particular card, and if we see that this is set to fixed, and let's make it a bit to fill and this to fit. Yeah, this is now coming in a better way. So that's how we can arrange this better. And also one good thing about Framer, which we usually use is, suppose if you look at this, there is no padding over here. Suppose if this went something like this, this would look very skewed, right? So to avoid from such situations, what you can usually do is select this whole desktop screen and add a padding of, let's say, 16 pixels or 24 pixels. Now, if you add this, what would usually happen is not all the components over here. If you see, this looks weird because I have not set every component to fill right now. But what would happen is now this gap gets translated over here as well. So you don't have to mess around like when different users open in different kind of browsers. You don't have to adjust this manually. And if we see, we go to desktop. So this is how you can adjust these things. And then there is one more thing when you want to adjust, like if you have a particular use case, let's say you use tablet, your users use tablet more often, or there is some custom thing. What you can do is to try out this tablet version as well, and then this will create this version. So if you see, it has adjusted this section well because it is all in stack and fill container. But over here, the text is messed up. So you can select this particular layers and then adjust that section. Also, there is one more thing which you should consider while adding animations is, if you are new, then over here, if you go in the effect section, on appear, there might be some animations already. So how do you want? If you want it to appear on the scroll, then how should it look? Also for the effect, you can set it. So I don't want it to be at zero opacity. I can set it to zero point 0.8 and then scale it in 3D. Let's say maybe 4. So it gives you a tilted animation kind of look. To try to play that, it will look different. So I set this to 3D and then I can adjust and play it around. Also, if I change size over here, because I've set everything manually correct, but I didn't adjust the spacing between them as in the auto layout. So what happens is it takes a particular space. And if you rotate it, something like this animation would come, which could create that popping effect. And also what you can do is there are a lot of such components available which are available in the community of Framework. You can use them and then they can give your website that gloomy, attractive thing. So this was a quick demo. Do you have any questions?
There are a couple of questions in the chat also, if you can address that. Krishna, maybe you can ask Krishna and Rajni if your question is still not answered.
Uh, Hi, Riya. So, if
Hi.
we want to create new section, where should I select from the insert box, or should I? How can I make the section?
Cool, cool. I'll show that as well. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, yeah.
So what you can try to create is add a section. So if I'm going to add a frame, I can try adding a frame over here directly.
Oh,
Or
oh,
one good thing about Framer is they also give you some layout structures. So if you want a rows, columns, grids, what do you want? You can select it from the layout. This was a frame which I wanted. I could have selected it from here. Let's try to add a grid. Let's add a grid over here. So that's how you can create. And if you are just starting out, there is also one more good thing which you can follow. So there is this
Sorry,
asset
Riya,
section. Yeah,
before you move on, I did not get the grid. What did the grid do?
yeah. So this multiple things are arranged in a grid format, right? Bento
No,
grids.
the layout, I'm talking about the layout. When you added the frame layout, say column or grid, like how
Yeah,
does that
yeah. So
function? Like I just saw a white frame. Like how do you then add content to it in the form of a grid?
so
Does
what
it
would
have those
happen?
layers inside? Huh.
Yeah. So what would happen is if let me try to add it again.
Yeah, can you show actually? This is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
grid now.
This is a grid. Now I'm going to change the color of this so it is easier for us to look at.
Hmm.
Now, if you try to paste things inside it, so let's try to paste this particular section, or you can try creating over here as well.
Hmm.
So let's paste it in this particular grid. Just a second, I'm not on the right page. Cool.
This is the
I'll
grid.
add.
Now I can see the grid. This didn't come before.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Got it.
I'm sorry. I'm not sure
I
what
think that was
happened.
not a grid. That was something else.
I think I selected while dragging. I selected a wrong layer.
Hmm. Okay.
Got it.
So you can change this. Like every customization is possible, and they also adjust this for mobile. But this is not set to anything, so that is why this is coming in a weird way. If we try to change it to fill, now it will get adjusted in a better format.
Yes. Thank you, Riya.
There was one more question. Is it not
Krishna.
possible?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it not possible to make settings in absolute position before you copy? Then you, I actually, if you look at this Figma file, this is placed in absolute position already. But whenever you copy via plugin, Premiere does not get this as an absolute position. So you need to make those manual adjustments over here. If you see, everything over here is in auto layout already. But yet, when we see at these things, they don't catch all the auto layouts perfectly. If you saw the mobile example that I was showing earlier, so it showed a lot of gap over here, but it is already in auto layout and set to 24 pixel. So there are some gaps in the plugin through which it is not able to get everything perfectly. So that for those we have to fix manually. More questions?
Maitri had raised her hand, but she's not in the call right now. So I have a question. Yeah, Sahil, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the next step? Like, if I want to publish this, what is the next steps for this?
So if you go over here on the top, you can see this publish button, right?
Yeah.
So if you use this publish button, I just published it. Let me create a new file and show
So, but if you're creating a new project, you would have to do some settings and all, right?
it. So actually, when you try publishing it, uh, let me show over here. So if
So,
you go
you
to
don't have
this,
to tell exactly, like, as newbies here, can you just walk us through what are some things that we need to be prepared before we do publish?
actually you don't have to do anything. You even if you don't have your own domain, it does not cause you any issue. So similar to Notion, this also give you a custom domain on their own. So this is a domain which I have used, but this is the domain which they gave me from the Framer app easily.
So the custom
So what
domain
you
is something that you typed out, or is it something that you bought?
let me remove and show you. So there are two options over here. This is the free version. You can maybe add some random text. Let's try today's date, 9th March. So you will get this custom domain, but if you want to connect it to your portfolio website or a domain that you already have, then you can choose this. But this option is available only for paid plan, not for the free plan. While this one is available for free plan as well.
Riya, my question is more in terms of SEO and interactive elements. Do we have form elements and things like that in Framework?
Yeah, so there are few things over here. So if you go over here, you can
CMS,
even,
cool.
yeah, in actions, you
Okay.
can. Oh, okay, let me show you. If you go over here, you can see there are even few custom pages over here, but you were talking about the form section. You can add
Forms and
these types of
interactive.
forms. Yeah.
Okay. But these are
Uh,
linking external forms, right? So, like if
there
you
is
just
this
want,
input.
yeah,
Yeah, there is this
that's a
input
basic input
option.
form. Okay,
Yeah,
input field. But you can
but
modify it?
you can. So it is over here. What kind of input you want? This is an email you want. That
And
is
where is
what
this
it
stored?
is.
Oh, but it's in
If
insert.
you go in insert, here in the forms, you can get this
We have
option.
an
No, I mean, where is this
but
stored? Like, where is the data stored?
data store.
Yeah, that they will give you this ID. It is stored in some loops thing, which
Okay, so
which
you have to
will
select the
they will in.
service that you want. Okay.
Yeah, but in my
Oh,
experience, this input does not always work perfectly fine. So try using maybe Typeform or FormSpark, whatever you are comfortable with.
but
Because I tried.
Typeform will not be very nice now as an embed. I mean, it would still say Typeform and you will get all that embedded thing. So it will not look that seamless actually.
Yeah, but that is the
Mhm.
thing because if you have just one field, you can use it over here. But if you have multiple fields and if you want more information, it
Yeah,
actually is not working great. But take it with some grain of salt because I tried using this 2 months ago, and after that I switched to FormSpark. So maybe in 2 months they might have fixed this. So try it out.
Is
But
there a way to
can
check the
you
code for this?
yeah, there are options, but I've
changing the
never used
code
it.
like custom edit would be
Yeah,
Yeah,
possible?
you
because
can use
especially for the
that.
forms, like there would be some, like
Yeah,
you're mentioning that there are certain areas where it might lose data, so you might have to check the code for that. So is there a way to check the code, exact code, like how it's working and all?
I
There is
think,
an option, but I am not aware of that because I've never used that. In
Okay.
fact, you can
but I
add
think,
your.
yeah, as they mentioned now, also like Framer is more like a no code thing. So I don't know if they will really generate a code and give.
Okay.
Might
No, no,
happen
you
in a
can
web
add
flow.
your custom code. You can add your custom
Yeah.
code.
Okay,
And how
that's
do you do that?
nice. Okay.
So I'm not aware of that. Like I have never used it. I've just explored. So I don't think I'm a right person. But I can drop you few links of that which I've seen. I'll drop it in the WhatsApp group.
Cool. Thanks.
Can you show more in the insert thing? What else is there
Sure, sure.
in insert?
So insert is actually a
So
very
you
good
have
collection. If you feel
like an
like you are
interactive,
getting stuck. Yeah,
creative
yeah,
and
we have.
interactive elements and kind of and utility. Can you just show social is nice?
Yeah.
Okay,
So if
okay,
you go to
interesting.
socials, you can add different things.
And in interactive, what do you have?
The interactive, it is slideshow,
Search.
carousel
Okay,
things.
interesting. You have search.
Yeah, yeah.
That's interesting. And the utility, I saw some interesting things in utility also.
It is actually very cool. I love the sticky note feature of
Gumroad,
them.
embed. Ah, okay. Is it for the website? Where does the sticky note sit? Like on your website?
Yeah, you can place it at some random corner,
Ah,
and then if you want, you can set up a custom animation for this as well. So if you want, if a user comes, let's try it out over here. So if you want, we can write sections over of this.
and do
So
you
this
have
is
any
it.
idea about the SEO of it while you set this
Yeah,
up?
there is a separate section for that.
Okay.
Something like this, and you can edit it, and it can come at particular sections as well. If you want, it will look in a different view. So usually, if you have seen in people's portfolio website, when they use for annotations, they usually use this sticky note feature.
Interesting.
And you were asking about SEO. So if we go to settings, then there in this particular section, if you go to page settings, you can see over here what is the title.
Okay.
You can add description, and if you want
Custom code
more,
is here. You have
yeah,
some
custom code is
here.
here, but that is also part of paid plan. It is not available for free.
But this is adding custom code. This is not modifying the existing code.
Yeah,
No, no,
this is
that
more, I think, from the perspective of tracking analytics and things like that,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
want to add.
and also this is page based. So if you want universal for the whole website, it does not work for this. Also, if you want to create some redirects, then this is the section. Staging and versions. And this is a very basic thing
Basic
which they give.
analytics. Mhm.
Yeah. You see more
Cool.
questions over here.
No?
Yep,
Hover and
there.
click states on buttons.
Yeah, there is. So, what is the best way? So, if you go to
Again, the states, it doesn't, as you said, it doesn't pick up styles from Figma, so it will not work. So you have to do it here in Figma.
yes,
Right?
so you have to recreate the component. If I try, let me choose. Yeah,
Interactive components need to be recreated, basically.
yeah. If I have added this as a button, I have to create a component here. Let me name it as button. Now I can
Okay.
add this as a hover and pressed and whatever the kind of thing you want. An additional question: if I use a card with certain effects, all I want its properties to be copied to another independent. Yeah, that is possible, but also through this component feature. Otherwise, not. Yeah, there are more such websites like this. Framework, free SaaS UI kit. There is also Framework University, a popular YouTube channel who teaches how to use Framework. Yeah, it actually shows very cool things, all those poppy UI on how to do that. So he shows that video tutorial of that as well. So you can try checking that out as well.
Nice. Cool. Anyone here who's used both Wix and Framer? No. I think that's another discussion to be had.
I've
People who
not
have
used it
used.
directly, but I have a few people who've used it for me. So, any specific question?
No, I'm just looking to compare between Wix and Framer, and it feels like Framer is good for certain use cases, whereas Wix
So
might be
Wix
a
is
better option
not
for
a
other use cases.
Wix is not primarily a no-code tool. Like here, this is
Yeah, I
almost like a
know.
Figma tool. Like, but whereas Wix is
Yeah,
almost like Webflow, but even further than that, it's completely code first.
yeah.
So that's one of the reason we
Mm,
used it for our projects as well. That if you have a developer, that person feels a little bit more comfortable with Wix compared to Framer.
yeah,
And
and also I feel it has more SEO support and analytics and
yeah, so then you can
uh,
go as much as you want. Like that's the point of Wix. Like you have the code access, everything. You can even export the code out to your own server, so you don't even have to use Wix server. So it's basically you're coding the entire thing. So that's why it's not completely no code tool. It's a rudimentary no
Hi,
code tool.
I
hi Vishwan.
I I tried Wix actually, but it's not suiting for me. So I think that now I right now working on web. So yeah, right.
Webflow.
Yeah, Framer.
Webflow is also developer first. Nah, it's not designer first. You need that
Yeah,
developer to
right.
think to use Webflow.
Yeah, it's actually for Webflow developer, not Webflow design. So that's one thing. So in this
So
Framer,
Webflow
actually, I
originated
have a
from
doubt
Mm.
actually.
templates.
Yeah.
So,
So I was saying Webflow originated initially as a competitor for Squarespace. So it was
mm,
focused more on templates and all. Then
Mm.
it diverted into the code part. Whereas Wix and Framer, more importantly, started off as an animation tool and then became a no-code tool.
yeah. Yeah, I think the animations are really nice. They come out really
Yeah,
nice in Framer or whatever. In Webflow, I know that people used to heavily use it for parallax websites a lot.
yeah.
I think
Because of the
creating good
initial,
parallax effects
yeah, it
is,
was initially like
yeah.
one of the most common templates there. So that's how the people
And
scripted.
yeah, and I think also a lot of CMS support as part of Webflow.
Yeah. What about Framer? Do you have to link your own CMS or
Framer has, she showed some CMS thing. It has a CMS thing.
I think
It
that's
I
has.
shared a
using
link here in the chat
CV
actually for the SaaS website kit for made by Framer actually. So it's actually
Vishwam, your
useful.
voice is breaking.
Yeah, okay. So I shared a link by Prema, which is for the SaaS website UI kit.
Huh.
It actually shows everything for making the designs. So in Framer, actually, you're making things at a time, right? So it's actually like these things at a time designing.
Your voice is breaking a lot. You're not audible.
Okay, sorry. Uh, So in Framer, I saw that doing things at a time. So is that how you do in Framer actually?
Not audible, Vishwam. Can you type it out on chat, your question?
Is it now audible?
Yeah.
Ah, better. Yes.
Okay, so I'm checking. You are designing 3 screens at a time in Framer. So is it how we do it like that?
No, I'm not able to get your question.
In Framer, you are designing 3 screens at a time, right? So
Mhm.
is that how we do it in the Framer? Like, is that how we create? Like,
No,
Are
you
you
can
meaning by
create.
3 screens? Sorry, are you meaning by 3 screens the responsive, the tablet, mobile, and web
Right.
version? Okay.
You
So
can create each one of those individually, but how Framer works is if you make some changes to web, it gets applied to both tablet and mobile, but not vice versa. So it's better usually to create it at the same time once you have your the initial structure of UI ready. So you can see how exactly the changes you are trying to make goes for mobile and tablet as well.
okay.
So it's just a good practice, not a requirement.
So you're working as like you creating containers, div containers, vflex and everything like that, right?
Yeah. Because that's how it works best even for the different kind of people who use from different devices. It optimizes in a better way.
Okay. So you're working like so you're doing like Figma to Framer. Is that or you are doing it is in the blank one in the Framer itself?
No, I do it in Figma because it's easier and I think I can have a better clarity over there.
Mm-hmm.
But I have seen a lot of people now directly using in Framer. But I think that that is a personal choice. I think I'm not yet at the level where I could directly use Framer.
Okay, great. Mhm.
Cool.
Thank you so much for that answer.
I think we can wind up the call if unless someone has any more questions. All right. Thank you, Riya. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll upload the recording, I think, sometime next week for others.
Okay,
Bye. Have fun.
Bye
okay,
bye.
bye. Thanks everyone for this meeting.
Thanks, Riya. Thanks, Samita.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.